Welcome to another episode of the PLV Media Show. My name is Peyton Hylock. First, we start with the Monarchs, where we learn about what the school is doing to keep kids in school.
Hello, this is Owen Verstrady with PLV Media, bringing you what you need to know about lunchtime plexiglass. When asked about what brought plexiglass to their attention as a solution to lunchtime spreading, this is what Principal Kalina had to say.
I think it's being really effective as we start. You know, kids aren't messing with it. Kids are respecting it. Yeah, it's a little weird at first. But as we've settled in now to week 2, I think kids understand the importance of it. Kids don't want to be gone from school. And so if it keeps kids in school, that's a good thing.
When asked about the installation of plexiglass, Evan Horak had an in-depth explanation.
So I would get the sheets. They were 4 foot by 8 foot. I would take them to a table saw, which is over there, and I'd cut them all the way in half. I'd stack those pieces up in a different pile where I'd take another saw, and I'd cut those in half again. Then I'd take them, and I'd have to cut a dado halfway through it so they could kind of overlap with each other. I made those little blocks to go on top, and then we used acrylic sealant and an acrylic silicone to glue them together.
When asked about how long the plexiglass would be installed, this is what John Huber had to say.
We'll keep it installed as long as the CDC says we have to. So the hope is, if immunization works out well over the summer and in the springtime and through the summer, and hopefully if things get curtailed on a national level, some of those restrictions can start to come down, and hopefully we can start the year without them next year. But we can't make that prediction until we see where the immunizations go.
When asked about the student body's reaction to what they believed it would be, this is what Jerry Kalina had to say.
You know what? They've been really good. I knew our kids would be a little freaked out at first because it is a little weird sitting at a table with plexiglass. However, in my opinion, and being the guy in the cafeteria every day, kids have adjusted nicely. They get it. And I think in week 2, they're doing a good job with it. So I'm proud of them. Thank you.
This has been Owen Verstrady with PLV Media on Lunchtime Plexiglass.
It's great to see that people still care about keeping kids in school. As we know, our district is rapidly expanding, and that requires more space. In our next package, we look at where spring sports have been conditioning, as well as how their practices are being affected.
I'm Kristen Collins with PLV Media here inside of the Fields House at Papillion Landing in Papillion, Nebraska. This is the location where conditioning is taking place for many of the high school athletes within our district.
For many years, athletes from both high schools in our district have done winter conditioning, but it wasn't until recently when things started to look different. I first took a look at what winter conditioning previously looked like.
So for 17 years, Papio South had been doing this stuff in the hallways and the stairwells, and we just figured that having this space here, it'll be a lot better on kids' knees and ankles and stuff, and we'll be able to spread out a little bit more. So those were the 2 main reasons.
I asked Coach Cage why the high schools decided to move conditioning from the schools to Papillion Landing.
That's pretty much to accommodate for the growth in kids. We have a lot more student athletes that want to get better, and we don't have all the bells and whistles to accommodate for all of those student athletes here at the school. And it's nice that it's an indoor turf field, that weather is not really an issue except for driving there and back.
I then asked how conditioning was different from years past.
Last year is very similar to this year. We're here at the Papillion Landing. Obviously, we didn't have the masks and we didn't have to social distance as much. So very similar to what we're doing this year. But same number of kids, same drills. But this year, we just have the masks and we're doing more social distance.
This way is really effective because you get the agility progression and the speed progression. At the school it was a little more low-key and we had smaller groups.
Finally, I asked whether or not this would be a permanent move for winter conditioning.
I sure hope so. It's very nice. We're very fortunate to be able to use those facilities. So, man, I really hope so.
This has been Kristen Collins with PLV Media, wishing all of the athletes the best of luck in their upcoming season.
It's good to know that as our schools continue to grow, we will change with the times. Speaking of evolving with times, in our next package, we look at what this teacher does to bring something special to the classroom.
Hi, I'm Soleil Jangulo.
And I'm Laura Smith.
And we are with PLV Media, and today we are interviewing an interesting teacher at Papillion Vista High School to find out how his unique hobby has connected him with his students.
Mr. McCarter, the German teacher here at PLHS, began teaching this year and is already forming bonds with his students because of his unique outlook.
He's very involved in making sure that you know what he's talking about, and he's there to talk to as a person as well. He tries to get more modern music, and he tries to keep up with the times a little bit more.
Another way Mr. McCarter stands out to students is his side job, playing video games on the streaming platform Twitch.
What separates me from other people is that I don't just like video games. It's like half my life. It's like a second job for me, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. My experiences with video games, I want to share that. So what better way than to stream on a platform where people can watch you? I knew from the moment that I started streaming on Twitch that I wanted it to be a family-friendly place.
McCarter carries that same motivation for sharing into the classroom.
He's just always kind. He's always coming in here with a positive attitude, and he's always willing to teach us more about German, about the culture, about how his experience in Germany was, and it's been nice.
Many have gotten rich on full-time streaming, but McCarter says that just isn't for him.
There was always a thought of like, could I possibly not teach and just do video games? But then on the flip side, I'm thinking, I love my job as a teacher. Like, I legitimately love my students and my content. Even if you don't learn anything necessarily about Germany, like if German's not interesting you, as long as you leave feeling good about yourself and others, I think I've done my job.
Hopefully you can have the opportunity to meet Mr. McCarter, one of the most unique teachers here at PLHS.
This has been Soleil Jangulo
And Laura Smith with PLV Media.
It's amazing to see what teachers will do to build that relationship with their students. After a year like 2020, there are a lot of things that people want to see. Today, we'll be going around the district to see what people are hoping for the future.
Hi, I'm Mikey Nagel.
And I'm Harvey Tuzio.
We have the students and staff of Papillion La Vista Community Schools.
What their predictions for 2021 are.
So as I think about 2021, first prediction on the pandemic, I firmly believe that this is the year that we beat the pandemic.
2021 is really going to be what we make it to be. 2020 had its ups and downs. I think the world kind of saw it as a downer, but a lot of us probably had some good moments in 2020, whether we like to think of it or not.
Big year for the Monarchs, as usual. Peace and harmony throughout the world. I'm sure that's going to be a big thing.
Hopefully with the vaccine and that most people will be taking that we will be able to have things like sports and entertainment, show choir, and the band back, because a lot of people have missed out on great opportunities this year.
I believe that our sports are going to dominate in the metro next year.
Hopefully COVID slows down. That's my big one. Hopefully next school year we start off a little more normally.
I fear, the worst might happen, that 2021 are like brothers and that they're going to take on the world, like the Curry brothers, that they're going to come after all of us and we don't know what they're going to bring.
Well, at this point, I'm just waiting to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles take over New York. Big rats like, their master just wandering around. At least that's possibly going to happen. Pigs will start to fly.
Prediction number 2, this district will look fundamentally different by the end of 2021 than it does today.
I guess we'll have to see if any of those predictions come true.
Now back to you, Peyton.
We hope you enjoyed this show and hope you join us for the next episode of the PLV Media Show.